serious about credit. We are not serious about credit. The world is serious about credit. Can I tell you very briefly how serious they are? And I'm not telling you this to scare you, but I just want you to see how serious the world is about credit. In order to bring in the FICO system, the world had to increase computer capacity. They had to increase computer hardware and software to the tune of trillions of dollars, and you paid for it. They brought in a FICO system. They didn't tell you they're bringing it in, but they made you pay for it. How did they make you pay for it? What did they tell you was happening around the year 2000? Y2K. They said, look, if we don't upgrade all the computer hardware and software in the world, all the computers are going to dial into 2000. The zero is going to make the computers blow up. How many computers shut down? Wait a minute, we spent trillions of dollars on an issue that didn't really exist? Let me tell you how serious it got. Who is the largest supplier of computer hardware in the world? IBM. Did IBM offer you a Y2K fixer-up? No. You should have started to, see, this is your fault, though. You should have started to realize there was a problem when IBM didn't offer a solution. They are the largest manufacturer of computer hardware in the world, and they haven't said nothing about it. Who's the largest supplier of software in the world? Microsoft. Did Bill Gates, you know he liked money, did he offer a Y2K Windows debugger fixer-upper? No. He would have made billions. In fact, let me tell you this. Bill Gates is a Christian. He's a serious Christian. Bill Gates said this. He said, I don't like the FICO system. I understand what you're going to do with the system, and I'm going to tell people that you're bringing in the FICO system, that Y2K is a sham, and you're really bringing in the FICO system. How did he announce that? Anybody hear him announce that? No. So they stopped him. How did they stop him from announcing that? What happened around the year 2000 to Bill Gates? Y'all remember this? The Justice Department said what about him? You're a monopoly. You're too big. You're too powerful. You're evil. We're going to shut you down. We're going to break Microsoft up into small pieces. That's what they said. If you don't shut up, we're going to break you up. So as soon as Y2K happened, the year 2000, and the FICO system came in, what happened to Microsoft? Did they get fined? Broken up? No, they just wanted to shut him up. Microsoft bigger now than they ever was. Anybody talking about monopoly? No. They just wanted to make sure this credit system got into place. That's how serious it is. And that's why I take my job very seriously. I have an hour to try to deprogram you with what they have done is spent billions and years and hours worth trying to program you for self-destruction. I got about an hour to deprogram you. So some of what I'm going to say might seem shocking, and I'm going to throw it right in your face and beat you up with it. But understand it's not malicious. I'm trying to help. So right now, the only place to really get good information about the FICO system is from the people that invented the system. They're called the Fair Isaacs Corporation. In 2004, Congress mandated that they teach you their system. You can go to myfico.com. myfico.com. Now, we're also launching a website to help you through that. It's called 990club.com. It should be launched as of today. But myfico.com is the first place you have to start when you're serious about your credit. If you go to somebody for credit help and you say, what does FICO stand for, and they can't answer that question, you better run. Because that's the world we live in. Most people in the credit industry don't even know who the FICO system is. They don't know because they haven't been told. It was a covert operation. I worked for the credit industry for 20 years. That's the only reason I know. Part of my job was helping them introduce the system. But I decided to retire when I saw where they were going with it. This is a system that's designed to enslave you. I can't be a party to that. All right. There's a couple laws that I have here on the bottom. You have to embrace these laws. You have to understand them. You have to read through them. You have to get together in a group and decipher them. These are what control your credit. If you have good credit, you have access to capital. So your job now, instead of looking for a part-time job, you should be mastering the credit system. That's the best part-time job you're ever going to have. So we need to know the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the Fair and Accurate Transactions Act, the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, and the Fair Credit Billing Act. Once you've mastered these, you're dangerous to the world. You're dangerous. I'm going to make you dangerous today. You're going to be a threat to everybody that's empowered by this system. All right. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I just want to touch on this really quickly. The Faro system, our credit system is based on the Faro system. It's not a new system. It's an old system. It's the oldest system. They mirrored it after the Faro system. If you can remember, Faro controlled a large group of people, and at the time of Faro, what was the largest employer? Do you remember? Pyramid building. If you look at old Hollywood movies, when you saw the pyramid builders, you always saw somebody cracking a whip and whipping them. That's because we used to think that the pyramid builders were slaves, okay? That's what we used to think. But modern archaeology has proven, if you watch the Discovery Channel, that the pyramid builders were free people. They were a class of people called pyramid builders. They were laborers, workers, and they had different structures and class structures within the pyramid building. Why is that important to you? Because look at what happened. As people looked back on their lives, you are a free people, but you live like a slave. Oh, that's good. Pharaoh, good. You're free, but people looking at you say, man, them folks are slaves. They got to be slaves. Who would live like that but slaves? How can I make you free, but have you act like and behave like a slave? That's what this system is designed to do. To keep you free, but have you behave like a slave. There is a reason for that. Let me give you a little more history. If it was up to them, they would simply have you in bondage, but that doesn't work. I used to teach a class, and I would tell the class what brought an end to slavery in this country. And most people thought, what? What brought it into slavery? Civil War, Emancipation Proclamation, Lincoln? Wrong. None of those things brought into slavery. The economy brought it into slavery. The transition from an agrarian society to an industrial society. What happens in history, just so that you know, you cannot have a slave operating machines that are considered to be more valuable than the slave, because now you've put that slave in control of your destiny. To prove that throughout history, what happened in ancient Dutch society, the new machinery or technology was windmills. So they had all the Dutch slaves working on the windmills, and when the Dutch slaves got fed up or depressed or tired, they took their shoes off and threw it in the machine, and it shut down the machines. It destroyed the machines. What were their shoes called? Sabots. That's where you get the word sabotage. That's why they can't have you in shackles. A more recent example of that. Hitler was a genius. I'm going to tell y'all something. Now, history is written by the winners, but Hitler was a genius. Hitler was positioned to take over the world. He invented something called a U-2 rocket. It was the world's first intercontinental ballistic missile. He could shoot